So, The Beekeeper came out earlier this year from Suicide Squad and Fury director David Ayer, starring Jason Statham as Adam Clay, a retired beekeeper, an elite secret agent, member of an organization across the world that is designed to protect the hive, right? The greater public, the greater good, the greater society. And Adam Clay is living life retired, away from the business, on a quiet farm opposite Felicia Rashad, Bill Cosby apologist, who is playing Eloise, an older lady who gets scammed in the worst possible way as a senior citizen from a bunch of scammers. These like Jordan Belfort looking crypto trading NFT bros who all work at this LED covered light show display secret bunker in an office where they're just scamming people on call centers. It's a call center. And she gets scammed and immediately does not take it well, commits a horrific act, and Adam Clay is forced to go find the perpetrators and deliver justice, courtesy of his friend. But when somebody at that operation runs the information up, runs it up to Josh Hutcherson, who is also in this film, son of a young Jeremy Irons, who is a former, I think, CIA director he plays in this movie. The two of them decide they have to take action against Adam Clay, but once they find out he's a beekeeper, once they find out that he's a member of the elite, they realize that they have to get out and make a deal, a John Wick-esque-ian, I don't know what I'm trying to say, operation to make things cool before Adam Clay stabs and kills and murders his way all the way up to the tippy top. And boy, does it go to the top in The Beekeeper. Boy, it just keeps going. So I'm excited to talk about it. Film stars Jason Statham. It is a action send up. Some say so bad it's good cinema. Andy, what did you think of The Beekeeper?
The Beekeeper is definitely one of those kind of like 80s, 90s B movies where you have this ridiculous premise that is just executed at like everyone's like a cartoon villain and he's the cartoon hero. He's like, I'm the beekeeper, I gotta protect the hive. And you know, he's got all the, he literally does keep bees, like he makes honey for the locals. But then you know, we find out that the beekeeper's also like code name, kind of like a James Bond-esque, and there's just one and he makes everything, and even the CIA doesn't really know about him. It's kind of like every element of this story is ridiculous because it's just like the beekeepers, they're super assassins, even the CIA can't control them, and then you got to bring an old beekeeper out of retirement to fight the new beekeeper, and it just goes up and up and up, and levels of corruption. You got a lot of action. It's not quite as tight and as well choreographed as something like John Wick. The violence isn't kind of as fun, but it's the kind of movie you know, watch with friends and laugh, have a drink, be on your phone, kind of talk over. It's a lot of fun in a group. Probably not great on your own.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about The Beekeeper. And when you hear about a movie like this, it was advertised straight. It was advertised as an action vengeance thriller, a la like a Liam Neeson movie or like a John Wick kind of thing. Big yellow posters, big yellow font, The Beekeeper, right? Bees flying around. But then when you watch the trailer, you realize, okay, it's not quite what we're getting at. Watching the actual film, it is brutally obvious that this is not meant to be any kind of big action thing. So I think the marketing doesn't save it really, but that wasn't a problem performance-wise. Beekeeper cost about $40 million to make, and it made like triple that. It made like 125
it was a huge hit
or something like that. Yeah, it did great. In fact, David Ayer's working on kind of a spiritual sequel with Jason Statham. It's on IMDb. He's like a logger at some northern town, and his daughter goes missing, so he's got to go take an axe to a bunch of
beekeep again.
Right? Yeah, he's the log jam. That's what we call it. I don't know. but I can't recover from logjam. Beekeeper, yeah, right. It's something like that. Beekeeper did not start as So Bad It's Good cinema, I don't think. And like much So Bad It's Good cinema, like The Room, Tommy Wiseau Project, Infamous, it does not have to start with the intention of being so bad it's good. Beekeeper actually comes from writer Kurt Wimmer, who you don't know personally, but you know his movies. He wrote, let's see, Equilibrium, that's a Jedi-like movie starring Sean
Christian
Bean and
Bale.
my guy Christian Bale. God, the Thomas Crown Affair, Ultraviolet. If you remember that movie, Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx. Point Break, the remake. He wrote the Total Recall remake. Kurt Wimmer has never written a jokey so bad it's good script in his life, ever. So I don't believe for a second that this started as what it turned into. Like, what this started as, at least in presentation, was an earnest attempt at an action thriller movie from the guy who wrote Equilibrium and Total Recall and Law Abiding Citizen and Point Break. What we get is a so bad it's good feature, even intentionally so. Like in the presentation of these like crypto bros, the way they're reading lines, the way Jason Statham's character just shows up in scenes like an SNL character, even some of the cutaways are like so awful. It's very obvious that this is what this became. But I don't know when that happened. I don't know if that happened in the editing room. I don't know if that happened at a pre-pro meeting. They all just decided, hey guys, we're not going to take this that serious. Like somehow it gets over the line, but it's also like kind of boring and dull in parts. And those are the bits you get your phone out or like get up and do your laundry. It does not manage to hold that energy for the hour 45-minute runtime. It can't. It kind of crumbles.
Yeah, when you have a movie that's thin on plot, or that the plot is just a vehicle for the action, then the action's got to be great. It's got to be over the top. The fight scenes are all a little sloppy, like they don't feel very very real. He does do a lot of kind of gruesome kills, like he ties a guy up and then drives the truck off the bridge. One of the things that we see in the trailer, he walks into the data center and blows it up, and it's so funny because everyone just kind of sits there and lets him do it because he's the one tough guy, and he's like literally pouring gas on these rubes, and they're scared and run out, and no one really tries to stop him. When they do, he just beats them up. So like the action it's fine, like it's like TV movie level. There is a version of this that is really good where you have like a John Wick level choreographer put everything together, but we have our main antagonist that's just kind of a invincible. He's tons of plot armor. We also have a real unconvincing FBI agent chasing them. Who is this guy? Oh, he doesn't exist. We just have a birth certificate and nothing else. And we follow them the whole movie, and they're so boring. They're supposed to be the comic relief, and they're not even that.
Not funny.
We do get some inspired scenes. There's one where a counter beekeeper shows up to take him out, which is overall too soon. He defeats them in like a 30-second fight. Who I wanted to very comically called the she-keeper because it was a woman.
It's funny.
So it's undercooked in all aspects, and if you have a weak script, you gotta have great action.
Yeah, and like that's somewhere like it really struggles. Like in my Twisters review, I talked about how well that movie's shot. Like Lee Isaac Chung really goes to efforts to make the presentation of Twisters big and bold and dynamic. He uses the whole screen, big lenses, wide open spaces in Oklahoma, big skies, big action, big danger. Beekeeper has none of that thought put into it. It's hard to believe, honestly, this comes from the guy who directed Fury. But I think the intention was we're just going to use this budget smart and we're just going to get through it. And it's just going to be we're going to put it out in January, and that's going to be the movie. Every shot is a cameraman holding a Steadicam, bit of handheld maybe, eye level, nothing fancy, no flash, no glam. They got a little bit of lights in the background to make some things look good. Big fan of light beams, David Ayer is going into frame, which is cool, right? The cutaways look awful. Like, it's just not a good looking movie, and visually it's not exciting. And when you've got a script that's already pretty low in the low parts and not very exciting in the highs, it makes it dull. And yeah, you could say it's so bad it's good cinema, but if you're on your phone for a third of it, like, is it even cinema? Are we even in that space, or have we like transcended into something so boring, so awful that you just don't care until Jason Statham's swinging on somebody? Because if you want that, go watch a Fast and Furious movie. It comes faster and better and is more exciting. Beekeeper does not do anything that's particularly exceptional in the space. Like it kind of flops in every direction.
Yeah, it gets weirdly slow in parts when we're not doing our action. Again, and our action is laughable. It's not there's not enough danger. He beats up everyone. No one gives him any trouble because he is the beekeeper and he's like the lone person in this top secret organization that no one really knows about. Yeah, he's just a little bit overpowered, and then, yeah, it gets boring. And the slower parts with the detectives who are like, "Who is this guy? Well, we found this clue. Is it?" Equally as slow. Yeah, definitely has a lot of pacing problems.
Yeah, tonally watching it, like it reminded me a lot of Cocaine Bear, especially the Sheekeeper bit you're talking about, which is like maybe my favorite sequence of the whole movie. It's like a minute. It's so fast. There's almost
So
no
short.
dialogue. It's goofy. It's funny. Like that's the kind of tone over the top that I wish the whole movie had, and it doesn't really get there. But I do think the cast was aware of what's happening, in my opinion, because some of these reads are really outstanding. Jason Statham as Adam Clay is fun for fun's sake. Honestly, watching Jason Statham run around in this movie, I'm thinking, I wish he could get into more obscure stuff. Could we get him like in a Willem Dafoe role? Where he's just kind of an old grumpy Brit standing around. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that would work. Josh Hutcherson is honestly fun as this like crypto trading, drug huffing, young man who thinks he owns the world and totally doesn't. Jeremy Irons as his kind of peer, Wallace Westworld, is fun for fun's sake. He's having these ridiculous calls with like the CIA director, Minnie Driver, who I didn't expect to be in this movie at all.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, "What's Minnie Driver doing in this?"
Yeah, what's
He's
Minnie
in it for, like,
Driver
5
doing in
minutes.
here? Good God. And I dunked on Felicia Rashad in the open, but I do like Felicia Rashad for what it's worth. And like, while her bit is boring, like, because her character is a senior citizen who's literally getting scammed. It's like a 10-minute scene. It's rough. Once you get through that, you're like, well, it was charming. She was in here, I guess. She looked good in the trailer. So like, I think the cast knew what was up. I think Ayer knew what was up. It comes from a place of a writer who meant this earnestly, and I think it ends up being not good in either way. It's not a good action thriller, and I don't think it's a so bad it's good movie. It just ends up being real down the line, real mid.
Yeah, agreed. It definitely it's a one timer. It's a put it on while you're doing chores and not actually watching it, or you need something to put on in the background at a party. It's that kind of movie.
Yeah, you're next time you visit home, your parents will tell you, "Oh yeah, I watched that movie, The Beekeeper," and you'll be like, "Oh no, you watched that? Like that's what you're watching? Like, come on, you could do better than that." Like, it's fine. The Beekeeper is fine. Not a great showing from Ayer, I don't think. Like, it's weird looking at the poster. It's like from the director of Suicide Squad and Fury, and you're like, really? Like, this
How
is
far
where
he's
you're
fallen.
at? He's doing, like I said, he's doing Logjam or whatever that next movie is going to be with Jason Statham, which is just going to be a spiritual successor to this one because it worked. Remember, like for every dollar they spent on this movie, they made 3 back. So that worked pretty good. Like it's a winning formula here with The Beekeeper. But as an actual watch, like boy, it is just not all that exciting, in my opinion. Fun stuff, fun goofy stuff, but otherwise we should probably move to reviews or formal recommendations. Andy, any other thoughts on this one?
No, I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend The Beekeeper?
I would say probably soft pass, unless you're really a diehard Jason Statham enthusiast, or you're just bored and want to put some mindless action movie on, and while you do anything else but watch it. That's what I recommend. Some decent action. Jason Statham does what he always does, which is be the same character in every movie. His beard, he's got a bad dye job on his beard. It's way too dark. It doesn't like match the rest of his skin. There's a version of this that is really good, but you could definitely see where they cut the budget.
Yeah, Beekeeper's Abyss. Don't watch it. David Ayer, how could you? Hopefully he'll pull into something better. I think it's an intentional so bad it's good movie. I really think that somewhere along the way in editing they decided, you know what, we're gonna go for broke. We're just gonna do it, and like it wasn't marketed that way, and it doesn't work that way because it's not that so bad it's good. It's just kind of so bad it's bad. I was thinking of the YouTube thumbnail for this one. It could be like so bead to the bone, or so bad it's bead, or protect the hive. You'll help me come up with something. But if you like what we did on Off Script today, you should come back or check out what we got in other places, which I'll tell you about in just a second. Before we do that, Andy's got to tell us what we're watching next week. Andy, what's on the docket?
It's finally here. Deadpool and Wolverine, the long-awaited sequel to Deadpool 2, and is going to be somehow involved in Marvel now, the MCU. There are rumors that this next phase is actually going to be called the Mutant Saga. We're moving away from the multiverse saga, and of course, Kang and the Kang Dynasty is not happening anymore. So that's the big release, July 26th, this Friday. We got tickets. It's selling like hotcakes. It's probably going to be huge. And then we're going to see what else we're going to look for on streaming. We're going to find something. There's some options, but this is going to be the last big throw of the summer, and then it's into August.
Yeah, excited about Deadpool Wolverine. Get your tickets if you haven't got them. We'll find something else to watch. We'll fill it in. We always do. But if you like what we're watching here on Off Script, if you like our show this week, if you've enjoyed previous episodes, maybe seen us on the internet and thought, check those guys out, but not stuck around, good news, now's your chance. You can just subscribe to Off Script Film Review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on right now. We might be on TikTok, Instagram, we post clips on Facebook, we're on Twitter. You can follow us on all the usual social media places. Big things going on in the YouTube channel. Big things. We got goals over on YouTube, and we're continuing to hit metrics. Come help us out. Come do us a solid. Come follow us on YouTube. It's great. Things are going good over there. We're on all the audio places. Love our audio listeners, even though I'm talking about you last. Next week, I'll talk about you first. You watch. I'll remember. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, if you listen to the audio podcast. We started this show on audio. Love the audio. Always going to be here for you. And, of course, you can check out our website offscriptfilmreview.com, and you can email us correspondence directly at offscriptfilmreview, mail at offscriptfilmreview.com. From all of us at Offscript, the home of Bold Cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.